Especially see the family folks, if you want to go down the side aisle to the front and say hello. Take seats. Slide out here for the front. Thank you very much. Slide out. Right. Are you going to plan? Slide out here for the front. All right. Slide out here for the front. Slide out to you. Use the slide out to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we begin our services. If you can please kindly turn off all cell phones or electronic devices, or please place them on silent. Thank you very much.
We learn in the book of Job, Adonai natan v'Adonai lakach, Yehi Shem Adonai mevarach. The Lord gives, the Lord takes away, but still we are grateful for the time in between. Our hearts ache today as we gather together here in person and virtually to remember Jaclyn. Jaclyn's in-between was much too short. But still, as we look back on her life, we're grateful for the time that we spent with her and for the incredible impact that she had on all of our lives. All of us here are sending love and comfort to you, to Jaclyn's family, to Brian and Sarah and Marley, to her grandparents, Gail and Teresa and Fernando, to her Aunt Felina, to her godparents Susan and Marty, and to so many other family members and her many, many very dear friends. Your overwhelming presence here today is a testament to Jaclyn. It is evidence of the indelible mark that she has left on all of us, with her smile, her passion, and her friendship. Jaclyn was that type of person who, when she saw you, would run up with a big smile and give you a hug. And we'll miss that terribly. Yet we know that Jaclyn will never really be gone from us. That's because her spirit, her love, and her laughter will always be a part of us. And for this, even at this heartbreaking moment, we are grateful. Finding words to say in the face of such a tragic loss can feel impossible. And so we turn to our Jewish tradition, to the book of Psalms, whose words have provided comfort for our people throughout the generations. By reciting these words from the Bible today, we link Jaclyn's memory to our ancient traditions, to the Jewish people, and to the eternity of God.
Shir Ma'alot, a psalm of ascents, a psalm to lift spirits at a time of loss. Centuries ago, the psalmist began with a question: what is the source of my help? The source of my help, Psalm goes on to say, is the Lord, creator of heaven and earth. He will not let you falter. Your guardian does not slumber. Surely the guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. He is at your right hand to protect you. The Lord, your keeper, gives shelter. The sun will not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will guard you from all harm. The Lord will preserve your soul. He will guard your going and coming from this time forth and forever.
Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai ro'i lo echsar, binotesha yarbitzeni al mei minochoti nahaleni, nafshi yeshoveh, achayni balam leitzerek laman shema, gam ki elech begates al mavetz, lo irara ki ata imadi, shivtecha mishantecha hima nekinachamuni, tarof lefanai shulchan neged sorerai, dishanta l'shemen roshi kosi revaya, Ach tov b'chesed yirdefuni kol yemei chayai, Shavti b'beit Adonai, la'orech yamim. Those were the Hebrew words of Psalm 23, also known as the Shepherd's Psalm, a psalm that offers us words of comfort during difficult moments such as this one. Please join me in the English recitation of Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
It is at the very beginning of the Torah, in the book of Bereshit, the book of Genesis, that we learn that when a loved one passes away, members of the family come forward to share stories and memories. And it's that ancient tradition we'll continue here this afternoon, as first we'll hear from Brian, and then Marley is going to share some words about her sister. Brian.
As I look out, I am truly overwhelmed, and I know that Jaclyn would be as well, standing room only. But it truly is a testament to who she was and how amazing Jaclyn was able to touch so many people. As Rabbi will tell you, for her bat mitzvah, they made me keep her speech to a 3x5 card. I don't have any such restrictions today. I wrote something, and Tuesday I tried to read it, and every time I looked down to read it, my eyes teared up, so I didn't write anything for today. But I will tell you, Jaclyn, as most of you already know, was passionate about almost everything that she did. And I think the thing that she was most passionate about is what has shown up in this room today, is all of her friends. And most of you know her, that she fought for friendship. Sometimes she fought with you. Sometimes, more often actually, she fought for you. And all she ever wanted was for everyone to get along and to be together and to have all of her friends. And she would be so proud to see everybody here today. Okay. A little story about Jaclyn. As most of you know, she was enormously a big fan of sports. And most of you don't know that Jaclyn educated some Eagles fans on more than one occasion. I had the pleasure of taking Jaclyn to an Eagles game. I actually think it was a preseason game, back still in the McNabb era. And there was a lightning storm, and they made us clear the stadium. And we had to go into the hallways, if any of you have ever been there, to go back underneath. And I said to Jaclyn, do you want to stay or do you want to go home? And she said, well, Dad, are they going to restart the game? I said, yes. She said, then, well, why would we leave? And about 50 Eagles fans sitting around us said, Dad, you just got schooled by your daughter. At another game, Donovan McNabb was doing his best to throw the ball at his receiver's feet, as we all know he did way too many times. And the boos started raining down from our section as Jaclyn stood up and screamed, hey, that's rude. He's doing the best he can. For those of you who've ever been to an Eagles game, I thought that was going to be my final day. And possibly the most memorable game that all of you probably recommend was the snow game. And Jaclyn and I went. We thought we were prepared. And at halftime, as we were literally covered in snow and couldn't see the other goalposts from the other side of the field, Jaclyn said, Dad, I don't want to leave, but is it normal that I can't feel my hands? And I said, no, and it is definitely time to leave. Right? And Jaclyn took that same attitude with everything. As many of you know, even after she was diagnosed, she insisted on going to her junior prom. In fact, she told the head of oncology at Children's Hospital, I'm not starting treatment until after the prom. As many of her friends already know and teammates, when Jaclyn was in the hospital, from her cell phone, from her hospital bed, she tried to help coordinate summer practices, made sure that the freshmen had rides, and didn't let anything stop her. I couldn't make it to all of them, but probably you saw her walk with her boot out onto the practices. And she just was determined not to let this change her life. While being on and off chemo for her senior year with the help of a lot of the teachers and faculty who are here today, Jaclyn was able to graduate on time. She was able to get into UCF, her dream school. She, in between chemo, attended as many classes as possible, and got involved in her sorority, A Phi, got involved with the Nighthon to raise money for other children. Even with everything that she was going through, that's what she wanted to do. Up until a very short time ago, Jaclyn was still Jaclyn. When we moved to Florida for the treatment that she was on, she was still going out running, riding her bike, walking the dogs. Memorial Day weekend, we couldn't do anything to stop her. She insisted on flying up here to be here for Leah and Jason for the Wolves' birthday, and to spend Memorial Day weekend in her favorite place of Margate. And there was nothing that Sarah and I could have done to stop her. Shortly after that, I think some of the guys, or I don't know the timing, I kind of lost track of days, decided to go to Universal. And Jaclyn got in her car and drove up to meet with you, and drove back down all on her own, and we couldn't have stopped her from doing that either. What you guys may not have known was that Jaclyn was still pretty ill from treatment at that time, but nothing would have kept her from doing that with you. She fought up until the very end, and I could not be more proud or amazed by Jaclyn. And I would want everyone to know to never let Jaclyn's memory be an excuse, but instead always let it to be an inspiration. All the people in this room had a connection with Jaclyn, and she loved everyone and would only want us to remember her for all the good times and to let her be your inspiration. So I want to thank you all for being here. Okay, and with that, Marley, if you want to say something.
Hi. Oh my gosh, okay. So I wrote a speech that I read on Tuesday, so if you were there on Tuesday, sorry that you have to hear it again, but I tweaked it a little, so don't worry. Alright, so I was going through Jaclyn's phone recently, but I didn't have to break into it, my face opens up her phone. And I found a note document that she made with a list of her top 10 favorite things. The first one was, of course, football season. My dad made very clear. Another one that I thought was funny was seeing her freckles come out in the summertime. A couple more were eating frozen grapes on the beach, going to a concert and just blanking out because you're so in the moment, and doing small things to make my friends and family happy. But there were 3 bullet points that really struck me. The first was the bullet that read, watching family and friends open gifts, and if you know Jack, you know how much thought she put into every gift that she ever got anyone. The second read, when someone genuinely means it when they tell me that they miss me. And the third was being told that someone's proud of you. I think I can speak for all of us here today when I say that we're all immensely proud of her for 1,000,001 reasons, and that we miss her more than she'll ever know. I'll miss her every second of every day. I'll miss her even while doing the most mundane things, because it was those small things that she made fun and memorable. We'd walk up the stairs linking arms and laughing. We'd brush our teeth together and randomly laugh for literally no reason. She truly made every day a more enjoyable one, and I'll forever try and be more like her in that sense. Aside from the small things though, Jack had big plans for herself. And although some people may look at her goals and call them dreams, Jack worked every day to make sure that they'd be a reality. She had big aspirations of going to law school and becoming the most badass sports and entertainment lawyer. And she also, for some reason, wanted to bring back the white wigs. Her and I had plans of living together in Miami for a couple of years and taking over the city. She was going to find 2 hot football players for her and I to marry. She was going to be my maid of honor, and I was going to be hers. We were going to have houses in the same development so that our families could be close all the time. Her and I had plans of having vacation homes with a bridge connecting 2 sides of the house, that way we would be connected. These things, which all sound like such far-out dreams, actually felt feasible to us. And knowing Jack, she would have made sure of it all coming true. And in some ways, I'm sure that she still will. My mom actually called me the other day and said to me that there had to be some sort of astrological or spiritual significance of Jack passing away on August 8th, which is 8/8. So I Googled the significance of the number 88, and one of the things I found is that 88 is a dual infinity number, basically meaning that Jack will live on in each of us, and that we'll always do and see things that make us think of her. But it also meant that her legacy will make a difference that lasts forever. And if you've seen the GoFundMe recently, thank you all, by the way, for all of that. Then you know how true that is. Everything she did made a lasting impact, whether it was on the field, her work as school-wide VP at East, her position on Night Lawn at UCF, her relationships with each of you, and so much more. She somehow did everything and loved everyone with so much passion that even now her legacy will continue to live on infinitely in so many things and in so many of us. The number 88 also represents the laws of karma, basically saying that people will always get what they deserve, whether it be good or evil. I'll leave it at that because if you know Jaclyn, you already know that she's up to something. All of this proves the ways in which Jack was a different kind of special, a special that I simply don't think the world was ready for. To know her was to love her, and I mean that in the truest of ways. She touched so many people's lives and welcomed everyone into her life, even if she'd only met them once. It was one of her superpowers, and one of the best lessons that she left us with, one that I'll forever try to emulate but will always fall short of. We can thank Jack for teaching us a lot of things. She taught us to live every day to the fullest, to never take no for an answer, to sing and dance anywhere and literally anytime, to be yourself, to love with your whole heart, and to always speak up for the things you believe in, and to never give up on anything, even the craziest of dreams. She's someone who deserved to have all of her dreams come true, and I'll never understand how this world can be so cruel, or how this is our current reality. But I'm so sure of the fact that in some other place, Jack is living out all of her wildest dreams with all of us right by her side. I'll continue to cheer her on and celebrate her life, because her life and legacy is one that justifiably should be celebrated. She's protecting all of us, and she's with all of us all the time now, so behave. But Jack, if you're listening, and if you're in this room right now, please know how much I love you, how much we all love you, and know how hard I'm going to work to make you proud. I love you to the moon and back 3,000.
Thank you, Brian and Marley, for sharing those really beautiful words about Jaclyn. Words that fill our eyes with tears, but that also fill our hearts with love and with good memories. I got to watch Jaclyn grow up at CBS. Along with Marley and Brian and Sarah and many of you, we celebrated many milestones and simplas over the years. There was Olive Consecration with Mrs. Speckler in 2nd grade. There was Dalit promotion in 6th. There was Jaclyn's bat mitzvah, learning together in Hebrew high school, and traveling to Israel together along with Rabbi Wexler and Kenner Cohen on our confirmation class Israel trip. And this week, I look back on the pictures and the writings of Jaclyn's from these experiences. And as I did this, two things caught my attention. First, I noticed that somehow Jaclyn was always in the middle of every picture. She wasn't hanging out in the corner, and she wasn't hiding in the background. She was always front and center. Even in her confirmation class photo, which hangs at TBS, there is Jaclyn, front row center, smack in the middle, with that smile that looks like she's laughing. And that's because she probably was. But the second thing that struck me as I looked back on my experiences with Jaclyn was the Devar Torah that we worked on together for her bat mitzvah. Brian, though you and Sarah's speech needed to be on a 3x5 note card, her Devar Torah could be a little longer, so there's more to add. But as I read it, it gave me chills. Her words spoke uncannily, perfectly to this moment. Here's how she began on Shabbat, September 19th, just 6 years ago. In my parsha, V'zot HaBracha, we encounter a great tragedy. Moses, the Israelites' teacher, our tradition's greatest leader, passes away. But with his death, we come out with something great, the Torah and its lessons to guide us throughout life. My parsha says that there's never risen a prophet like Moses, to which Rambam adds that nobody has or ever will raise themselves to that exact level, but everyone can be like Moshe. If the Torah says that no one will ever reach Moses' level, how can Rambam claim anyone can? Another commentary, the Lekach Tov, answers that everyone has to accomplish what they can in life using their talents, abilities, and strengths that they were given. Today, we too encounter a great tragedy. And the truth is that Moses' death, while sad, happened after he had lived a long life. Jaclyn didn't have as much time, which makes the lesson that she taught at her bat mitzvah that much more amazing. Jaclyn used her talents, abilities, and strengths to bring joy and laughter to so many each and every day of her life. And it was true even when she was young. I spoke with Maura Harriet Baker, who was Jaclyn's teacher early on in religious school at TBS. And Maura Harriet said that even then, Jaclyn was such a happy and loving child. She said she remembers that she was always the first to volunteer for anything. Her hand would just shoot up in the classroom. And she also frequently asked how she could help. And even as she grew up at TBS, Jaclyn would often stop by Maura Harriet's classroom to say hi and to check in with her. This is just one way that Jaclyn used her gifts. She valued her friendships, her relationships, and people were drawn to her. This helped her fulfill that teaching of the Lekach Tov that she quoted. She was able to accomplish so much using her talents, abilities, and strengths. And then Jaclyn went on in her Devar Torah to talk about what it really means to put our gifts into action. Listen to what she said. Moses was given strength and wisdom, and he used those to the maximum of their potential. The comforting lesson that we can grab from this is that although Moses' combination of strength and wisdom will never be duplicated, the ability to use our talents and strengths is within each of us. The Torah and Rambam are telling us that although we might never accomplish all that Moshe accomplished, the potential to be as great as him is within each of us. Jaclyn certainly used her skills and talents to accomplish so much. She took that potential within her and used it. She played varsity soccer, she was vice president of student government, she kept up that 4.0 GPA in high school, and continued to do this even after being diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma at 16. And I remember speaking with you, Brian, not long after she was diagnosed. And as difficult as it was, Jaclyn faced her diagnosis like she faced everything in life, with perseverance and determination. She was not going to let it get in the way of what she wanted to do. And I remember visiting Jaclyn in the hospital just a couple weeks before that junior prom. And as we talked, her thumbs threw across the keyboard on her phone. She had many people to text and to get back to. But when the topic of prom came up, she stopped typing, looked straight into my eyes, and told me in no uncertain terms that she would be there. Nothing would stop her from going. And right when she said it, I knew it was true. When Jaclyn set her mind to something, she was going to accomplish it. And that's true throughout all of her treatment, and chemotherapy and surgery and more chemotherapy. And everything she went through, she refused to stop living her life the way she wanted to. She lived the lesson that she taught when she was 13 years old. Listen to how she concludes her words. This Torah portion has taught me how valuable life really is, and that we all have so much potential. It has really opened my eyes to realize just how incredible life is. But not only has it taught me that life is valuable and to be cherished, but it's also taught me to live every moment to its maximum potential. Sadly, many people don't know how short life can be. We hear stories every day on the news about so many awful tragedies that never think that anything to that extent could happen to us. Life is fragile, and so it is important to live every moment to the fullest. Jaclyn taught this lesson, not only with her words at her bar mitzvah, but with her deeds each and every day of her life. She made the most of her days until she was unable to fight any longer. And now she is without suffering, and she is at peace. And though we all miss her terribly, we honor her by living the way that she lived, with courage, with grit, with laughter, with love, and with the dedication to use our talents, abilities, and strengths to reach our potential, and living every moment to the fullest, just like Moses did, and just like Jaclyn did. The name of Jaclyn's Torah portion was V'zot HaBracha, which means this is the blessing. All of this was part of Jaclyn's blessing that she gave to each of us. And because of this, we know that Jaclyn will always be with us, and that her memory will surely always be for a blessing. We rise for the memorial prayer.
exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and the pure, the soul of Jaclyn Ehrlich who has gone to her eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May her soul be bound up in the bond of life. May she rest in peace. Let us all say, Amen. Please join me in the words of Mourner's Kaddish. Yit Gadal V'Yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah V'Alma Divra Chirutei V'Amlich Malchutei V'Chayechon Yomechon V'Chayei D'Chol Beit Yisrael B'Gala V'Zman Kariv V'Imru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevorach Leolam Omei Almaya Yitbarach V'Yishtabach V'Yipa'ar V'Yitromah V'Yitnaseh V'Yitadar V'Yitalev V'Yitalal Shemei D'Kudesha Brichu Le'ela Mikol V'Yirchata V'Shirata Tushbechata V'Nechemata Damirana V'Yalama V'Imru Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'Chaim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'Imru Amen. Oseh Shalom V'Broma Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'Imru Amen. You may be seated.
As we conclude the service, or after we conclude the service, friends are invited to Shiva at the home of Melissa and Jeff Hershkovitz, which is on not page, I do that in the other people, on 41 Galloping Hill Road in Cherry Hill. You're welcome to head over there to share more stories and memories of Jaclyn with her family and with each other. Let me just also say, because I know that this loss is tremendously difficult for all of us in different ways, especially for those who are Jaclyn's friends, is that we are here for you, and the we I'm talking about is clergy in general from any congregation or any faith tradition, are here to help in any way that we can, and please don't hesitate to reach out if there's anything that we can do, so we can work together to move through this and ensure that Jaclyn's memory will always be very blessed.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you can kindly remain seated, please, just for a moment. You're welcome to stay and talk, folks, after the service, but please make sure that the corridors to the front door is open, and do not stand right there in the corridor, so people have a chance to return to their cars when they walk out of the chapel. Folks in these two rows, if you can get to head to our cars, please.